welcome to Paperback Flicks.
All right, well, welcome back. Uh, I'm Ray Davidson,
I'm Ruth. Got it.
Ruth, here with me, and today we are talking Princess Diaries.
Yay.
My introductions are always so weird. It's fine.
And part of the style of the show. So there you
So we're talking about movies because I know, at least in my case, I saw the movies like way long time ago,
go.
and then I didn't know that it was based on a book. Did you know this was a
No,
book?
not until you told me we're doing it last time. I had no idea.
Okay, have you? But you'd seen the movies before?
Yeah, yeah, I saw the movie way back when they came out. And then, yeah, I watched the movie again today
Mm-hmm.
with my sons. I didn't watch the second one again, but I've watched it before. So,
Okay. So I want to get into the book a little bit just because it was so different and new and weird to me.
hmm
Not, but it kind of was weird. When we announced this, I had said hopefully it won't be another Ella Enchanted,
hmm
which was also Anne Hathaway. And I kind of wanted to see, do you feel like the movie and the book were in line, or do you feel like it kind of went the way of Ella Enchanted?
it feels like it kind of went the way of Ella Enchanted. Like they took the basic concept and then they sort of improved upon it and they made it more cinematic
Hmm.
because in a way the book ends is very anticlimactic and very like, huh, that's it.
Yep.
And there's some very interesting choices they made as far as the story and like who's in it and who's not in it and how everything takes place. So it's definitely an interesting interpretation of the book, but
Right.
I can see why they made all the choices they did for the movie. They make
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. I feel like this was another case where they read the back of the book and they were like, "Oh, cool idea." And like almost did their own thing, but stayed true to the back of the book. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, the back book at least. They got all the names for the most part right, and like,
yeah.
yeah,
But so when it came to the book, I'm personally, I don't super like the journal format.
yeah. I'm not into first person myself.
Yeah. Like sometimes it can work if it's like a first person narration, but it's a full narration, and sometimes it jumps out so that you get other people's perspective.
Mm,
This was like legit written like a girl's
diary.
notebook diary. Yeah, like
hmm
I understand the concept of like putting math notes in was like to make it look more like what it would look like if it was your notebook that you took everywhere.
hmm
But I hated it. I didn't like it.
I thought it was interesting. It made for just an interesting dynamic. Not that I understood any of it because I stopped using math as soon as I could. The second I left high school, I was like, I'm done.
Yep.
For me, I use as little of it as I possibly can. Um, but it was interesting for when she started tutoring with Michael for him to be like, yeah, you should keep your notes all in one place and not just in random places like your journal. So that was interesting in that. But yeah, like it doesn't add to her story. It just shows her it just shows her scatterbrains and kind of like all over the place.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
did you listen to it as an audiobook?
No, I read it.
Okay, so I listened to it as an audiobook and it's actually narrated by Anne Hathaway,
Hmm.
which was fun. It's like, okay, so I'm literally hearing it in the voice of the actress that played the character in the movie. So
Right.
I found that was fun. I think that made it a better listen for me. I think if it had been somebody else, I might not have liked it as much because it is kind of a weird book. It's not a bad book. It's just, I guess, being in Mia's head that much, she's really annoying in the book.
Yes. Yes. So that
Very,
was something like my main takeaway is I didn't like any of them. I didn't like her. I didn't like any of them. Like from her perspective. Like
yeah.
I'm trying to think back when I was in like junior high, high school. I was not very good at keeping journals at all, but I started several of them.
hmm
And I was probably that annoying too because you write in your journal and you're like, "Ugh." he is such a jerk, bit, like, and
Really
I'm like,
wanted it. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, okay, I don't like you. I don't like your voice. Like, I don't like Mia.
Hmm.
Her friend sounds super duper annoying. I would not be that girl's friend.
No, I
Um,
wouldn't.
like even the brother who I do like Michael as much as I like any of them because there's not really, but even he is like a weirdo in the beginning from her perspective. And that's the thing is we're only getting her perspective on people.
Hmm.
And so but the way she talks so nasty about her dad, who is alive,
Yeah.
and who she knows is like she knows grandma. She knows that grandma is grand-mère, is rich and
Yeah. And I think that makes more sense that they wouldn't just be like, oh, we just won't be a part of her life at all. Like,
right.
it makes more sense that they were in contact, but they like kept it a secret as much as they could. And they went to visit when she went to visit them. It was at
Mhm.
like kind of a different place. It wasn't the palace, but it was someplace they could keep it kind of like confined and not let it get
Right.
out that he had a daughter. And like it was very secure in how they did it, but like it never crossed her mind because why wouldn't they tell her that they
Right.
were fancy? And like, why would she assume that they were something fancy? She just assumed that they were wealthy, you know?
Well, and I think it's funny that like she makes the comment that like her grandmother at one point was like, "Oh no, this woman, I don't remember if she couldn't have dessert or she couldn't speak at there was something that she was like, "Oh no, not her."
Yeah.
And when Mia's like, "Why? What's wrong with her?" She's like, "Well, she was born out of wedlock." And Mia's like,
Um,
"I was born out of wedlock,
it was,
but you're my granddaughter and the only one I've got." Like,
no,
you
I didn't
know,
be that weird to you. Well, what's interesting is like in the movie, they made out that they got married and divorced secretly. That
right.
they did get married, that it wasn't a child out of wedlock, which is a nice little Disney way of making it a little more family friendly. But that he chose because she didn't want to live that life, the mom, and he felt like he couldn't leave his country. They chose to separate
Right.
and just keep it a secret. I do think it's unrealistic and just weird to think that the dad and the grandma wouldn't have anything to do with her entire life, and that somehow that would be a good thing. It's like, yes, she's free of emotional complications, but her grandmother and her father have nothing to do with her and
Yeah.
are alive.
Yeah.
And well, like in the movie, he's dead. He died. They don't explain. I guess it was like 2 3 months before in the movie that the dad died, which I thought was funny because the friend's like, "Oh, you're still bothered by that? That was a couple months ago." I'm like, "Dude, people grieve differently, and a father, even if you haven't seen him a lot or even haven't seen him at all, is still your dad. There was still like some hope you'd see him eventually, or you'd build a relationship with him, and especially for a young girl, a father figure, regardless of whether he's in your life or not, is still irreplaceable. It's still a big deal.
Yeah.
There's a part of you that always kind of long for that daddy, even if like it's a weird thing I can't explain. As somebody who didn't have a father present a lot growing up, I I do think even if like my dad had died when I was a teenager and we were pretty estranged, I probably would have been a wreck over it for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Even though I was pretty mad at him as a teenager. So like, you know what I mean? Like I thought that was kind of an insensitive, weird thing for her friend to say. Like, oh, it's a couple months ago. But like
Yeah. Well, and
grieve
the friend, yeah, the friend in the book, like I said, like I would not be that girl's friend. She's awful. And I kind of the one thing I did like about the book is that in the beginning, like you're like Mia is a snot. Apparently everyone is awful.
uh-huh.
She like keeps writing about how much her friend is so smart and her friend blah, blah, blah,
Mhm.
Lily and whatever. And then you see Mia especially mature by like she's still a teenage kid. She still does dumb stuff.
Yeah.
But I actually they at the end of the first book they had the first chapter of the next book.
Uh-huh.
And so I read that too. And
Mhm.
like they're in New York in the book and
Hmm.
The Moskowitzes are in this like high rise, at least it's a high, I don't know if it's like the penthouse or whatever, but it's like a high rise apartment or whatever.
Yeah.
And they Lily dares Mia to like run up and down the hallway naked. Not the hallway in their apartment, but like the hallway outside their apartment. Like she like playing truth or dare, and I guess Lily like has Mia run up and down the hallway streaking, and she's like, fine, I guess I have to because otherwise I have to tell the truth or whatever. And then later she dares her to drop a like an eggplant or something out this high rise window, which is against the law because you could kill somebody. And so she does it and it like splatters and like gets all over this guy's car and he's like he was in the car and so he like steps out and he's like what the and Michael actually grabs her and like pulls her to the ground and he's like do you understand that your entire country that uh what's the
Genovia.
name? Genovia.
Hmm.
The entirety of Genovia is affected by the garbage you do. If you just committed a crime in New York, like it's going to be a big deal. Like, do you not get it?
Yeah.
And she has this moment of like, oh, right, my choices have
Consequences.
very intense consequence because she's still a kid. She's still like a teenage girl that
They're though
does dumb stuff.
considering after what she went through in the previous book for her to be that stupid.
Right. That's kind of the thing. Like Michael kind of says that.
You would have thought of or learned in the first book. It sounds to me like the second book should have been part of the first book, and I don't know. It was weird having it end where it ends in the book
Yeah.
because it felt very anticlimactic. Yes, I do like that in the book the date she goes on with Josh Richter in the book is like an actual dance and not
Hmm.
like just a beach hangout end of
Right.
school year thing, whatever. I like that because then it was a bigger deal, and it was a bigger deal. It's like go to dinner with them, and then he orders steak for everybody, and she's like, "I'm a vegetarian." Like, what the heck? And then like the whole like him kissing her on the steps of like the school for like the prom dance, whatever thing, without her permission, seems a lot more like traumatic because it's like her first big dance she's gone to and she actually got asked and she also feels a lot younger in the book. Yes, they do portray her as pretty young in the movie, but she seems like extra mature in the book.
Well, so she can drive in the movie, but she's only about 14, I think, at the start of the book.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she is
So,
a little younger.
mm-hmm. Yeah, so she's like, I haven't really gotten my brush yet, or still pretty small still. Or,
Yeah.
and that's a little weird to have Anne Hathaway say that line about, I'm still waiting for normal body parts to arrive. It's like, dude,
Right.
20s. You
Right.
obviously have them. They just have you wearing baggy clothes, so it's not obvious that you have breasts. But, anyways, but yeah, I do like the way the dance situation went was better. That whole date with Josh was better. I also liked it better that Lana was actually devastated by suddenly being broken up with. And then for me to kind of feel guilty about it, kind of like, oh, I've always wanted to date this guy. I'm like, it is kind of weird for him to ask me out right away after they just broke up. And like, she's noticing slowly, like, first she's just so excited that the guy she likes, or like the big, huge crush, like, cutest guy in school asked her out. But then
Mhm.
slowly over time, her brain starts going, no, this isn't right. This isn't right. This isn't right. Wait a second. I like that part of the story. I thought that was very interesting. I like that version of the date better
Mhm.
than the one from the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. So I before we move on to the movie,
Mhm.
because of course my focus tends to be movie, but
Yeah.
was there anything else about the book that like stood out to you that you wanted to make sure that you like pointed out or said?
I enjoyed the whole like awkwardness of the dad being there and then finding out the mom was dating. the teacher, and the whole awkwardness about like you were to wear that, and like his whole panic because like even though he's been dating other people this whole time, maybe some part of him still had like in the back of his mind that she wasn't or never was going to date anybody else and she was never going to get over him or something. And then actually being there, watching her go on dates with this other guy was like, I liked the awkwardness of that. And I also liked, like in the book, his name's Mr. Giannini. In the movie, his name was Mr. Campbell or Carter.
Is it? I don't remember now.
It was something with a C. Anyways, different
Yeah.
name in the movie. It's the same essential teacher.
Right.
Um, but in the book, she like walks in and her mom doesn't think she's going to be there. I think she's going to stay the night at Lily's. And she comes home, wakes up in the morning and there's her teacher in his boxer shorts at the breakfast table. And like, how like awkward would that be? And like, oh my gosh, this is like, ah. And that's how the start of the story in the book was that she, starts with going, I cannot believe my mom is dating my teacher. Holy crap, blah, 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 blah. And like, I can get that makes sense as a good beginning for the book. That works. Um, but I did find those scenes were fun, like little things about like, oh, I'm just going to stay in. Like Mia goes to do something. I'm just going to stay in. It's just going to be me. And then she notices that there's two things of Thai food and there's two glasses. She's like, oh no, honey, I'm just really hungry. It's like, why is she lying to me? Why is
Yep.
she lying about it? Like, oh no, yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
so I like little things like that. The friend, so Lily, I didn't hate Lily in the movie the first time I watched it, but like in the book, she's so the whole falling out with Lily was different in the book.
Mhm.
It was a lot more dramatic.
Yeah.
And it's like it was like they weren't friends for a while. And there was a whole other girl. There was an Arabian Sheik's daughter that
Yeah.
was going to school there that she ends up becoming friends with when she's like ostracized from Lily. And
Right.
like, they sort of bond over not being normal because they both have bodyguards and all that.
Yep.
And
So
yeah,
I liked their fallout. I forgot I was going to mention that. I felt like that felt more real. And we talked about that in the Prisoner of Azkaban, that their like breakup, their falling out, like that felt vital to their overall story.
uh-huh.
And I felt like this was like, a lot of the choices that Mia made, a lot of the decisions to not just the Sheik's daughter, but also like if Lana and Josh and them just suddenly started hanging out with her with Lily, like first of all, they're not as likely to have done that. But second of all, even if they had, like she would have had Lily to kind of keep her a little bit more grounded and been like, "Really? You're gonna suddenly be Lana's friend or whatever." You know what I mean? Like,
You want to be her friend because she's a princess, Lana. Like she would have
yeah,
called it out.
yeah. And that whole like, because I've had friends that I've
Yeah.
had friends that like I cherished that friendship, but then something happened and she felt like I offended her and I felt like her offense was unnecessary or whatever, you know. And
You're
it
like, how
becomes this
dare you be offended by my
thing.
offense? How could you do this?
But you know what I mean? Like I've had those relationships and you just sit there two tables away like what happened? And at that point, even if you're like, hey, maybe we talk this out, the slightest little thing, like she takes something wrong, or I don't understand what she means, and suddenly it becomes this bigger deal that's like, we're never going to figure this out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I liked that they had that there was like a legit like because for all of Mia's like why is she doing this to me? Why is she and she does see from Mia's perspective in the journal, Lily does seem like she's being a really controlling jerk and maybe she is, but also Mia is keeping something from her and you can see that Lily is like obviously you're being weird and I don't know what to do with it and I feel like I can't trust you. You know?
Francis.
And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I that was something that I really liked in the book.
Yeah. I love the other thing about like Lily in the book is so super pretentious, over the top, save the whales crazy that it's like, oh, give me a break and gag me. 5 cents, 5 cents. You're making a deal. Or the fact that the like Chinese, the Asian restaurant is like giving a discount to the other Asian people. Like, this is their store. They can do that if they please. Like, and how do you know it's, I don't know. It just seems like, how do you know that every single person is getting, I don't know. It just seems like a huge thing, like big deal about. Like if it was like 25 cents or 50 cents, $1, something like that, but 5 cents.
Right.
It's the
Well,
stupidest thing ever.
and my so when I read that little part where she's like explaining they charged her 5 cents less than they charged me. And I'm like, that's a mom and pop store. How many times have did I go in as a kid and I brought exactly $1 and then I purchased something that was 99 cents and that meant that the tax would have come to like what, $1.06 or whatever it was, just over $1. And I brought exactly $1 and they said, all right, that works. Like
Yeah,
what if it was just something like that? Like the girl happened to have this, and so they're like, you know what, we'll take it. That's fine. Like,
exactly. And so, what if they do choose to do that for the Asian kids? How do you know the Asian kids in that community aren't struggling financially? How do you know that they're not related somehow? How do you know that it's not like, I don't know. Yeah, I get that. Like, she's trying to say that it should be equal in all things. And I get that. But 5 cents, like, it's not that big of a discrimination. It's a tiny discrimination. And then she's trying to ruin a mom and pop store, a local store, and it's a good store and everybody likes it. So it seems like really vicious and just like egocentric.
hmm
Oh, just so full of herself. And like, like I kind of hated her in the book. So
yeah.
that at the same time, I kind of liked it though. When they had their falling out, it made sense. And like you're kind of glad that Mia finally stood up for herself and said, "Hey, you know what? Get over it. Like you stop telling me what to think. I think your whole thing with the hose deli is stupid." And I was like, "Thank you," because yeah, you can tell that Mia cares about like wants to be part of Greenpeace and she's all into environmental things, environmental friendly. She's vegetarian and everything. But like with Mia, it comes off more as like a genuine, this is what she cares about, this is what she believes, and not as much as like a virtue signal, like I'm better than you because I do this kind of a thing, which is what Lily is. Lily comes off like she's got a show where she can talk about it and talk about like how horrible you are because she's not doing what she's doing and blah blah blah. It's like where meanwhile Mia's just like, oh, I'm a vegetarian. You're like, no big deal. Like, oh, I want to work for Greenpeace someday. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. It's like she's not like trying to tell everybody else how to live their life. This is what she believes, what she's chosen, how she's chosen to live her life. And like, I respect that. I don't respect the type of people that feel like they need to decide for everybody else how they live their life. If you want to like express your opinions and give good arguments for why you think things should be a certain way, fine. But when you're doing it in a way in which you're like making everyone else seem like they're monsters because they eat meat, how dare they? Or it seems like that, then it's no, I no longer respect it. You're not respecting other people's right to have come up with their own opinions and their own like values.
Right.
So like anyway, so when she stands up to her in the book, I'm kind of glad for her. I'm like, yeah, there you go. You're starting to actually, she said you're not assertive. Well, assert this,
Yeah.
and start showing some backbone. And I was happy for her. But at the same time, having done that, she's done like, oh, but now there's repercussions. So she's not going to forgive me now because she's a prideful person. Lily's a very prideful person. And so she has, and I think she's gotten used to the idea of Mia being kind of her follower, kind of her sidekick.
hmm
And instead of being like a strong individual, like just as strong as she is personality wise, Mia's just kind of followed along and she's gotten used to that to the point where she was like, she's kind of the leader between the two of them. And that dynamic sometimes works with friends, but I think it works better when you're equals and you respect each other, you have different strengths and weaknesses. And I think that was a hard thing for Lily to deal with at first because
hmm
she's like, I cannot believe she said that to me. How dare she? And, it's instead of swallowing her pride and saying, okay, yeah, I was being a bit of a jerk.
Yeah.
It goes on for like weeks and weeks and weeks where, suddenly she has to go sit with a whole new table and she meets a new friend. And I like that whole relationship with the sheik's daughter. I forgot the girl's name, but
I
like
forgot.
it's like Hakeem Ali Baba or something. Anyways, I'm gonna butcher it. But the the Indian girl, she like that relationship seems so much better. And even Mia sees it. She's like, oh, she's just sharing fun things with me. And like I go to her house and we get to do fun stuff and her family is nice. And like she loved the Markowitz, the Malkowitz,
Moskowitz?
Malchevich. Okay, sorry. I'm horrible with names. But the Malchevich family, she liked them and she liked going there and everything. But like Lily as a friend wasn't nearly as supportive and understanding as this other girl was. And she kind of has an opportunity to see, oh, it should be a little more equal. It should be more of a give and take. But I do like it that at the dance, when Josh does what he did and embarrasses her in front of all the paparazzi, and then she comes in and she's like, what the heck was that? Like, and like she like blows up at him in front of everyone and just like, what are you so upset about? It's like, you ordered filet mignon for me at the restaurant. And it's all, so it's, it's nice food or whatever. And then Lily's like, she's a vegetarian, idiot. And it's
Yeah.
like, you know nothing about her. And like, so then suddenly Lily's there
Yeah.
with the other girl. And, when Mia goes and runs into the bathroom to like deal with what's just happened. And then
Yeah.
Lily's there. And Lily's like, okay.
Well, and Lily knows more than anyone how devastating that is to Mia because this wasn't just a date gone wrong.
Yeah,
This was
the dream date.
essentially her idol. This was
Yeah,
her heartthrob for we don't know how long. Just
a while at least.
yeah, it has been a good long obsession almost with her and infatuation for this whole time. And Lily knows that more than anyone.
Yeah, yeah. So
And
and like how heartbreaking that is to have your dream come true, dream date happen, and then for it to be like that.
awful, yeah.
Yeah,
And so the
that's
to
the first
see,
kiss.
yeah,
Yeah,
and it was awful. Yeah, and to see Lily be like, "Okay, I have to be here for you." Like,
I just want my pride. She's going through something. I was wrong. She needs my help. She didn't deserve this, and
yeah,
I love that reconciliation. Just it felt more deserved, and it made you like Lily again, and like
yeah,
respect her. Like, so she's not. She can see now that this is not the time to be prideful, and that my friend needs me,
yep.
and and it's great. And like I like that Michael just happened to be there.
Well, he went because he could see Mia. Like,
Like,
I loved watching the Michael story because like you knew that he was gonna be the guy that eventually was like, I like you, you idiot, you know.
we
But
make sense. Yeah,
you like yeah, but like I liked seeing that because I kind of do identify a little bit with Mia. Like the when we watched the movie, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, she's me." I don't know if you remember my hair in junior high, but it was rough. And I feel like like they must have like seen my what ninth, eighth or ninth grade picture, whatever. There's one that was really, really something else, and I'm like, they must have taken this and taken Anne Hathaway and like, how can we make you look like this idiot?
that's funny.
But yeah, so I could kind of identify with Mia a little bit, even in the book, even though I don't like who she is in the book in the beginning, but I can see it, you know? And
Yeah,
so and so when I see the Michael character, like I'm like, I wonder how many of us have those characters in our life that we just didn't see.
no,
How long
feels
did
really
a boy like me? Like,
good
you know what I mean? Like,
for the Jakes of the world to like, because that's who it was for us, Jake.
right.
So like but yeah, like how many of us they see this guy and they don't see the guy that's right next to them?
Right.
Obviously, have more in common with, and actually is a better person. So I liked the Michael story better in the book because you got to kind of see their dynamic from him tutoring her and everything, and then like when she went over to Lily's house and stuff. And I like that he was just there, like on the off chance that I don't know, because he's nothing better to do, and then he'd see her. But then it worked out that he was there, and like I kind of liked it better the way it was in the book between those two.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then in the movie, they what was interesting is that they made it seem like she'd blown him off. First off, when he asked her if she wanted to come hang out and help him like put her car together, one that's not like the most ideal romantic date scenario. And she's like, "Is it like a date?" And he's all, "No, not like a date." And so she's trying to ask him, and he said no. And then she didn't blow him off. She remembered to tell him, "Oh, hey, I can't do this thing with you Saturday because I'm going with Josh to the beach bash." So for some
Right.
reason she remembered to tell Michael, but not Lily.
Right.
Why didn't Michael tell Lily? Or is Michael just so upset that she wasn't going to hang out with him that he forgot to say anything to his sister?
Right.
And she didn't remember in the first place that she had promised both of them to hang out with them at the same time in separate places. So she's pretty spastic and all over the place. But anyways, then for him later to be like, "Oh, I'll consider myself royally flushed." And like, it's like, I'm sorry, you didn't say it was a date. So you can't act like I blew you off. I told you, like, let's do it the next weekend. And yeah, sorry, your feelings got hurt, but you didn't come out and like express your intentions. You
Right.
did the cop out and just said, "Yeah, come hang out and we'll do this together." Instead of just saying straight up, "Yeah, like a date." Like when she asked, she literally asked him, she's like a date? And that was the moment to man up and say, "Yeah, like a date." And then she could have been like, "Oh, okay,
Right. Or even the classic like, I mean, if you want to make it a date, like
I'm not against it." You know what I mean? Like she gave him an opening or a place to like do it right, and he didn't. And like, I don't know, I personally don't respect a man that can't just say, "Hey, this is a date. I'm asking you on a date." Then somebody acts like they asked you on a date, but they didn't actually say the word date. They didn't specify that this was romantic get together, that they're trying to woo you or build a relationship with you. But then they act like somehow you're a bad person if you ended up going on a date with somebody else who actually asked you on a date. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get that it's scary to like put yourself out there and ask somebody out and to initiate a relationship, especially when you don't know how the other person feels about you. But like, if you're gonna try to develop a relationship with them through hanging out, it has to be a hangout. And if
right.
feelings should develop, fine. But unless you straight up say it's a date, you can't expect them to treat it like a date.
Right. And that's just it. Like the concept of him being like, "No, it doesn't have to be a date." Like that's fine. That's fine. It was when he was like, obviously he was the better choice than or you wanted him more than me." Well,
Uh,
yeah, she did. And it was pretty clear that she did. And you didn't speak up. Like,
yeah.
but but yeah, so yeah, okay. So if we're diving into the movie, hold on, I keep moving because I'm actually on a very small seat here. But so going down the movie rabbit hole, I figured out what it is about Anne Hathaway specifically and almost everything that I've ever seen her in. She feels campy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. Everything that she does has that feeling to it, and that's why I never believe her characters. I'm trying to remember. I think Les Mis
Oh,
is
God.
the one time that it felt more like she was on the same like acting on the same level as the people around her.
I disagree wholeheartedly.
Really? I'm trying to remember. There was something. I thought it was Les Mis. There is something I've seen that
You're
I'm like,
you're fine to have that opinion. I just disagree with you
I
completely.
yeah. I don't remember, like I said, like I was once I realized, well, I was watching it and I'm like, this is what it is. the only way that I can describe her is she's campy.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I know that I've seen her do something though that was like a serious
A little bit.
something.
Yeah.
And she did well in it. And so that's why in my mind I was thinking it might be Les Mis, but I can't remember.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? But everything else that I've seen, she's she's Anne Hathaway portraying this girl, you know?
Well, it works for this movie because like it's kind of a campy movie. Like
Right.
I was watching with this like the first time we tried to watch it, and he's like, "This movie's trying too hard to be funny." They're like,
Yeah.
"Is it really that hard to put on pantyhose?" I'm like, "Well, if it's the first time you put on pantyhose and you're driving up and down hills, I imagine it would be. But if you're a pro, then no, it wouldn't be that hard." And like, yes, I do kind of love random fantasy daydreams in movies.
Hmm.
And I think they can work really well. There's some movies that do it really well. I think this one it's cute, it works fine, but like I think with just an extra thing they put in there, there's like a lot of things like that that they did though. They added like the assistant character for the queen, who's
Hmm.
kind of fun. They added more personality to Lars, and they changed him to Joe for
Hmm.
like his head of security, and he kind of has this intimate relationship where he's a bond with Queen Clarice. Um, I think the choice to change out the dad for the queen for grandma and take the dad out of the story altogether was a good one, especially if you're going to have somebody like Julie Andrews playing your queen. Yeah, get rid of the dad. You have an amazing actress playing this character. And here's the other thing, I feel like Julie Andrews' version of the character, the movie, is so much nicer. Even when she is harsh, even when she is like demanding, it's still from like a more like maternal place, which I find I liked it, but it's also kind of weird considering that she was not her life this entire time.
Right, right.
Her grandma was, but there was like no relationship. It's like, but you know her. You've known her this whole time. So like it would have made more sense that she knew her grandmother, but didn't know who her grandma was. And knew her dad, but didn't know who they were.
Right.
Didn't know that they were royalty. And I think I would like that better in the movie if they had done that, because that seems pretty heartless. Just be like, oh, we're just gonna keep our distance. That's just mean. Like, that's just mean. Why would you do that?
Well, and it doesn't make sense with the rest of Julie Andrews' character.
It doesn't. Mm-mm.
That so so I love Julie Andrews.
Oops, yes.
I think she's sweet, and maybe she is a little campy herself, but you know what? I don't care.
Well, she does
Yeah.
campy because there's a way to do campy where it's adorable and it's charming, and there's a way to do it where it literally feels like you're gonna gag. And I feel like Julie Andrews does it the right way, and Hathaway does it the not so right way. In this,
Yeah,
it works okay for Anne Hathaway to be the way she is because of who the character is, because it's a Disney movie, and because of the whole style of everything. I think having Julie Andrews in it really like anchors the movie and makes it feel more respectful and
yeah,
makes it just feel a little less silly
yeah.
because
It
she has that.
Disneyfies it.
Yeah, she makes that movie feel more legit and more just a little less of just a silly Disney movie
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's Julie Andrews.
Well, yeah, and I like there's something that Julie Andrews does where you hear her go, I maybe, and then she'll say whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And when she does that, she's usually going off script because she doesn't remember her lines. Like she's
Oh,
a consummate actress, and if you give her the time or whatever, she will. But a lot of the times she remembers the gist and she may not remember every single line. And so like when she goes, "Well, maybe we'll try that one more time."
mm-hmm. Yeah,
Because that was the gist of what she was supposed to say. And she's Julie Andrews. Good enough is good enough. Like
yeah. I mean,
you just let it go.
they not, not doing it for Julie Andrews as other people's like trying really hard. So,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think she really makes the movie. She makes, and then like having her warmth. and her and Mia try to like actually become closer and have like build a bond as grandma and granddaughter. That's a
Mhm.
lot better in the movie than in the book, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially
The
since
corn dogs.
it's
I
like
love the
I do like the random things like Fat Louie that are in the movie. I like the Baroness couple that were gonna be the next in line, and then they don't when they don't get it, he steals a vase and they walk out, and then the next thing you know, the assistant brings it back. I like the weird little things like that. I love the dinner party thing with her and all the mess ups. And like, I love that couple that was sitting next to her that were like, let's do it too, so she doesn't have to feel bad, and we can all be idiots together.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I love those little things they did in the movie were very cute. What's funny though is that I was gonna look it up, but I forgot. But again, this is Gary Marshall movie, and Gary Marshall movies have a very certain feel. They're a little campy. They're a
Mhm.
little over the top. They're he likes to put a lot of little like quirky things in his movies, and I feel like his sister's the same way. Um, Peggy, Peggy Marshall, right? Am I
Peg.
remembering her name right?
I think so. I'm not good at names, so
Sister. Who is also a director and oddly plays his wife in Hocus Pocus.
Mhm.
In that tiny scene. I mean, she does a lot of the same kind of things. They're very similar in their style of directing. And like sometimes it's too over the top and silly, and other times it's not. But what I was noticing as I was watching this is that I felt like there were a lot of actors that are in the movie Runaway Bride, which is that a Gary Marshall movie or is it a Peggy? One of the Marshalls made Runaway Bride, and there's similar actors who seem to play similar characters that are in that movie. And so it almost feels like um, Anne Hathaway's Princess Diaries is in the same universe as the Runaway Bride universe, almost. But, anyways, I thought
yeah,
it was kind of interesting seeing similarities and like this. Yeah, it was just interesting. Uh,
yeah.
but
I
I get
like,
what Johnny's saying about how it feels like it was trying too hard to
yeah,
be funny.
yeah. It was. I liked the neighbor, Mr. Robitussin.
Robert Tesson, yeah,
Yeah,
he's not in the book, but he was a fun, silly little random thing on the side. Again,
yeah,
very characteristic of a Marshall movie.
yeah. Well, and it kind of made you feel more because in the book she does have like she talks about she lives in Greenwich Village and she talks about how like tourists will call it Greenwich Village and so people are like, "Oh, where's the Green Witch?" like teasing the out-of-towners, and the guy that pretends to be blind and he's like, "Oh, I need help across the street." And then he like gropes you as he
Oh yeah, I was like,
you
oh,
know, like all these characters that I'm like, that doesn't make me want to go to Greenwich Village, But this world, the movies, Princess Diaries world, it
it's
kind of makes San Francisco. Yeah, it's in San Francisco. It's on the other side of the country, and
right.
it almost makes it feel like I kind of want to meet Mr. Robitussin. He's a wackadoo, but
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah, they
I-
seem more like fun, interesting characters. And
yeah.
yeah,
I thought it was weird where Mia needs to do she needs to do something in PE. She's like the PE teacher's like,
yeah,
do something. I have to give you a passing credit, but you've done nothing. And she's like, I'm not really a sports kind of girl. I'm more like reading books, rock climbing kind, and like she like throws rock climbing in as if that's like a nerdy dork thing to do. And I'm like,
that's because they
that
should it's her job. That they had to give her something interesting to do or make it a little more interesting. So they gave her the job. She works at the rock climbing place. And I'm like, I like that, fine. But it's like, hey, rock climbing isn't a nerdy thing to do. And she talked about
right,
synchronized swimming and horse riding. I'm like, again, synchronized swimming might be considered dorky, but it's athletic. Horse
right,
riding isn't generally considered dorky, and it's
right.
somewhat athletic, like you're the
Yeah.
talent involved. So
I was like, rock climbing requires upper body strength, good core strength. You have to have like
yeah, so like I guess it's not necessarily a hand-to-eye coordination kind of thing, but it is a strength thing.
right.
But she doesn't have any problem like like rappelling down the wall, but she's terrified of a ball coming at her. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just different, but it seems a little weird. I
Yeah.
do. I both liked and didn't like the constant thing where she's her gym teacher trying to get her to do something right. They're trying to give her more things to do. There are more cinematic things to do.
Right.
So showing her in PE class and showing her fail at this and be more clumsy and then also showing her actually like hit Josh in the gut with the baseball when she finally like hits the
Yeah.
baseball and she kind of like gets revenge. It's very cinematic, but it's not necessary to the story, and it's kind of dorky at the same time. Like
Well,
it
and
formulaic.
do you know what it felt like to me? It felt like all the cool kids got in a room and were like, what are things that dorky kids do? Like, you know what I mean? Like this like it's like when you see the 40-year-old man, what was that skit? I think it was like an SNL skit. Hello, fellow youths, like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
hello, young people, of which I am one. Like, this felt like that. This felt like a bunch of cool kids being like, do
In
you
there
guys
is
remember
important.
what the dorks in your school used to do? Like, I kind of want to be like, maybe you should have consulted a dork. Like, there's got to be one in there somewhere.
Yeah, and what's considered dorky in one generation is completely different in the next. Like,
Yeah.
remember how being a video game nerd was a big deal? Now everybody plays video games.
Yeah.
Like the jocks play video games, the movie stars do. Everybody does. It's normal now. It's part of like the lexicon of society. So
Yeah.
like back in the day, it was dorky, but now totally acceptable.
Well,
So
and men dancing. That's another one that I just barely saw. What did I watch last night? Dirty Dancing. And like they were the hottest guys, the dancers. And now like my girls have done ballroom. I've had two girls in ballroom and a third one that wants to do it next year, I think. And that class will have like 40 kids in it and maybe five or six are men are boys.
oh wow.
Maybe like a good year has like six boys in it.
Oh gosh, that's for the girls.
It really does. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I guess a few years ago, like before my girls were at this school, they would have more closer to even numbers. But that's just the thing. Like, it was cool. They were the hot guys, and now all of a sudden they're not like
Yeah.
losers, And I'm like, what are you talking about?
It's sexy when a man can dance. That's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of I don't know if you ever saw that movie Take the Lead where Antonio Banderas plays a teacher and he has to teach these kids dance and they're like, oh, this is dorky. He's like, oh, excuse you. And then he like does this whole sexy dance with this lady that he brings into a system and they're like, oh. It's like,
I
yeah,
want to do that. Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about.
But I also like just thinking about that, the guy that plays Josh in this, like apparently that actor, like he really kind of is Josh. Like they showed the soccer scene and where they were trying to have him like be the goalie or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
they're like, "Oh, you got it." He's like, "I know, man, but I was just trying to be like, hey, I'm supposed to be the cool guy, but also like they're getting those balls like close to my face and stuff." And so I'm like, oh man, the way that he was talking, I'm like, yeah, he was totally Josh. Like he doesn't even have to act.
Yeah, it was funny. He felt like discount Christian Bale,
Hmm.
like the B movie version of him, like kind of cute, almost handsome, but a little bit dorky. And then like the way he acted was kind of dorky too. And I was kind of like, I can
Yeah.
get how he would be the cute guy in this scenario,
Yeah.
but like,
Well, and like I feel like that's kind of reality. Like you were talking about Jake earlier. Like there was a time that like Jake was it, right? Like he
yeah,
was clearly the most attractive guy in whatever room we were standing in,
yeah,
and whatever he did was just cool to me.
oh yeah,
And
like
then I
like
think,
half the girls in school.
right. And then I think back on it, and I remember him like sitting back in class and being going, Ruth, like,
Yes, just to be a dork. He'd do that from down the hallway. Like, it's like,
yeah. Or he would
yes,
walk by in the halls and like he wouldn't look at me, but he would just like bend down like close to my ear and go and like keep walking.
you're like,
Like
okay,
thinking back on that, if it was literally anybody else, I'd have been like, what a freak.
damn.
But because I already liked him, I'm like,
Yeah.
he acknowledged me. Like,
Yeah. Like there's a lot of things you don't notice when you would like put somebody in like a spotlight or on a pedestal. Like you make this big deal out of them and you look back and go, oh, maybe they really weren't that great. You
yeah.
know, and I guess that does make sense. That is very realistic. How do you feel about Mandy Moore? Is
She's
during her
another one. So I've never seen what's the movie she did with
a walk to remember?
no. Not the movie. I'm sorry. The TV she did a TV show with the Gilmore Girls guy, Jesse from Gilmore Girls or Jess from Gilmore Girls. Milo I
I don't
don't
I don't
I don't
know.
know his name. But
I don't
anyway,
know all
so
her.
that was Mandy Moore and Jess from Gilmore Girls, and everybody talked about how, oh, This Is Us, maybe is what it's called. And everybody talked about how it was just the most moving thing, and everybody like they can't go to fight night because this show is on. Like it was a big stinking deal, and I never saw it
I don't think I
because
remember.
Mandy Moore was in it. Because she's another one that I feel like is always so campy. And I just like even the way she talks sometimes, like
I get that it works for this character, but
it
like
does.
so like there's Walk to Remember, which was like the big movie that everybody made a fuss about. You know, that's the one where the the Christian girl who ends up dating the popular guy, and then ends up she has cancer or something, and she ends up dying. And like, it's one of the worst movies of all times. And I remember seeing it. I had I not seen it before. I don't know. I think I had seen it
I
before.
haven't seen it.
I was in Arizona when I went out there for college, and I was with my cousins at my cousin's house, and they invited their friends over, and they were watching this movie, and like I was just making fun of it the whole time. And there was one other girl that was like sitting there like totally in it with me. I was like, oh my gosh, the rest of them were so pissed that we were being buttheads. But I was like, this is really bad, guys. Everything about this movie is bad.
It's so
Everything.
good.
Nothing is good about this. And yeah, they were like, this is so emotional. I love this movie. And I was like, oh, seriously? Have you not seen enough movies?
Yeah. Well, so and I saw Mandy Moore in Saved, and oh my gosh, I think that movie's so funny, and I think she did a good job for the part that she's in because of the part that it is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But and I feel like this too, like in this one, she's also the super popular bully,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily the ultra Christian bully that she is in Saved.
Yeah.
But maybe she plays a hokey bully really well, apparently.
Yeah.
But just I don't know. It's hard for me to take her seriously. Maybe that's what it is.
I will forever love her for Tangled because I love her for the voice of Rapunzel. And,
Oh,
and you know, I don't know if you ever watched the Tangled TV show. I
mm-mm.
highly recommend it. You got to watch it. It's awesome. Um, but I'll love her for that. She'll be Rapunzel for me, the voice Rapunzel, anyways, and I will love her for that. But I don't think she should do regular acting. Voice acting, fine. Regular acting, I mean, and maybe she's done stuff that I haven't seen, like this TV show you're talking about. I'm pretty sure I've never heard of it. I have
I
no,
haven't seen it, so
so, and I don't have anything against her in general, but like, yeah. Anyways, so she works though for this part, and she does fine for the kind of movie it is
yeah,
altogether.
yeah,
But yeah, so overall, I think it's one of those situations where it was a decent book, but it definitely makes a better movie.
yeah.
Even if it is campy and it is silly, it sort of makes sense with the genre and like for the audience for it to be the kind of movie it is. And like it works better as a movie because they actually made more things happen in like more of like an arc. The
Mhm.
book didn't feel like it had an arc per se. The book, it wasn't like any point where she was like, you can decide not to be a princess. That's not in the book.
Right.
There was no like big deadline that you have to decide if you're going to be a princess or not, and there were like, it just, the stakes weren't as high. And it just, plus there wasn't the building a relationship with the grandmother or even
Yeah.
really with the father. Like, I feel like that a lot of the payoff you get in the movie are not in the book.
Right.
I find that interesting that it was, and I think it works better as a movie because I really hated being stuck in her head. I
Yeah.
didn't like, Mia gets better definitely over the course of the book, is which way you want. You want the character to grow and progress, but she's still not really likable or someone I want to spend a long time inside their mind.
Right.
More than one book. And especially if she's still kind of stupid in the second one, I don't see how I would have been able to finish reading these books if I have to listen to that.
Yeah.
It's going to get a lot better from then on. Then, like, but I can see why it was a popular book and why it would have been liked by certain people. But I think in this circumstance, there are things that in the book that I wish they had brought over. I would have liked to seen the Sheik's daughter character brought in.
Hmm.
I would have liked to see in some of those little things they did. Um, but overall, I think the movie's better.
Yep, that was kind of my takeaway too. I'm glad I read the book. I feel like it's not the kind of thing that I'm like, don't read it, you don't need it. No, I read the book. It's fine.
Yeah, I think it's definitely good for the YA teenage girl market, and they might
Mhm.
enjoy it. And I've never really liked first person perspective, so, but sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And like, as a diary, it makes sense that that's what you do.
Right.
So, anyways, I do like the movie better.
Yeah.
That's my feelings. So, yes. So we're at the point where we talk about what we're going to do next time. Okay,
Yeah.
so I asked my brother Josh for some recommendation because he's whatever the big word for person who reads a lot is. I'm going to write it up there. Um, he's a reads a lot of book person. And so I asked him for recommendations for something for the podcast, and he said Watership Down. Have you read Watership Down?
No, my daughter was just talking about it last night, and I was like, I've never read it. I don't know.
Oh wow. Okay. Yes, I read the book and I watched the show. I grew up with the show, then later read the book.
Okay.
And I love the whole concept of this. It's a strange thing, but essentially it was a series of stories that the guy told his kids when they were on road trips, and then he turned it into a book. And I
Oh,
love that. I love that. That like he came up with these stories to entertain the kids to make the road trips less boring. And it turned into a thing. And there
yeah.
are people that like adore this book and are crazy about it. And I remember watching the cartoon and being like, this is the craziest thing. It was because it was a cartoon, especially back then. Like nowadays, you can have adult cartoons more often than they did, in the 80s and 90s. So, but at the time, it was like, this is the craziest, like, wackiest cartoon. And it's obviously not a kid's thing. But at the same time, he told the story to his kids. So I don't know how old his kids were at the time, but it's interesting. So, anyways, next time we're going to do Watership Down, the book and the cartoon. I That came out this year. It's written by this person, even though I just talked about him. I don't remember their name. They're the cat. The cat decided to come say hello again. Anything else you want to say before we go?
Oh, yes, there was one more thing. So, I don't consider this a super quotable movie. Like, this is not one that I quote very often, but I have to say, my favorite thing that for some reason it just stuck in my head is when they're fighting and Lily is like, see this charm? This is your charm. It's going off and it's going in the dirt. And just the way she says that, like, and I'm gonna murder your mother. Like, that's the energy that it has. It's like, this charm is going in the dirt. Like that was the worst insult that she could think of.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me laugh so hard every time. I've seen this movie a few times now, and every time that line, just the intensity of it makes me laugh every.
Yeah. I will say that that actress definitely brings some things to that character in the movie. Like Lily, she makes Lily a better character.
Yeah.
Like they got the right actress to play Lily.
Yeah.
And like I do think it was interesting that they didn't really have the falling out. She was just frustrated with her. She got mad at her in a limo, and then she tells her, and everything's fine. Which yeah, it's not the same payoff, but like they don't have the time for the whole fight. But
Yeah.
yeah, I will say I love that line too. There's a couple little lines here and there that are pretty good, but that's yeah,
I
her
think
delivery of it,
I
fantastic.
think most of them are Lily's because the other one that is so funny is the whole like um whatever she says, I was looking all over for you or I've been trying to find and then she's like, not you, I don't even know you to some random guy that she
Yeah. Okay. So you can close us out now, Ray.
All right. Well, thanks for going on this crazy Ray and Ruth's wild ride. But for Paperback Flicks, I'm Ray Davidson,
I'm Ruth Paddock.
and we'll see you next time, guys.
Bye.